Is it a thrill show, or does the heat get people a little bit crazy? Hey, if you're looking for a summertime thrill, how about the midget races at Indianapolis Raceway Park? Make the right move here and prove the old adage. Everybody loves a winner. They have big hearts and a whole lot of horsepower. Brave souls and the will to win. Any night of the week, they are still the local heroes. And they live for the sound of thunder. We call them thunderheads. They gather throughout the summer at Indianapolis Raceway Park to enjoy the excitement of such as, well, tonight the SKOAL National Midget Series of the United States Auto Club. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain, and welcome to Thunder. Hey, they fired up behind us. The Thunder is about to roll. On this program, we cover two things. We cover sprints and we cover midgets. A couple of weeks ago, I stood here with two of the three guys tied for the National Sprint Car point lead, the closest battle in series history. They have since been rained out last Thursday night. We hope to show you the Friday night rain date for that later in the program. But the midget division has a pretty decent point race as well. Take a look at the numbers, if you will. 48 points bracketing the top 5 in the standings, and just 14 points from first to third. One guy is missing from that top 5. Tony Stewart had to make a decision tonight. He's second in the sprint points, fourth in the midgets. He went sprint car racing up in Wisconsin. Bad news for the Stewart fans. But hey, there's good news. Look who's going to sit in that seat tonight. We welcome him back to Thunder, Mike Bliss. This is like coming home for you, isn't it?
Yeah, now I'm driving a little something. I know I'm familiar with these cars, and I feel pretty racy tonight, and I think we'll have a good lap.
Well, this guy is as successful as anybody in the recent history of this racetrack. No points to worry about, just an opportunity to get out here and gas it up. How do you approach a race like this?
Well, Bob East called me and asked if I wanted to do it, and I had nothing going, and I kind of thought about it for about a half a second. I said, sure, I'd love to, you know. I need to get some more experience. I need to get my, hopes back up. Not hopes, but just, I think, truck deals, we're going good, but, we're not up in front. It's not, I don't like not winning. So I thought, come back here and give it a shot, and everything's going good. We're starting on the front row, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than that.
Well, of course, the truck deal he mentions is the NASCAR Super Truck Series coming here next week. I suppose a little more track time on this racetrack might help for next Thursday night when you'll be live on ESPN, eh?
Well, yeah, anything you race is track time, so we're excited about it.
All right, you go to work. We're going to go up topside, preparing to join the action from the air-conditioned booth, the guys who call the action on Thunder. You know about Gary Lee. He's our Thursday night anchor. Every week I introduce Larry Rice as the 3-time USAC champion. Let us also remind you that in 1978, he was co-rookie of the year in the Indy 500, along with Rick Mears. They are, of course, Gary Lee and Larry Rice. The Gary and Larry Show. Take it away, boys.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, everybody. To inflate his ego even more, a member of the USAC Midget Hall of Fame. All right, now let's talk about midget racing, a tight points battle, 14 points, separating the top 3. Take a look at it right now. Danny Dryden has 4 wins, 5 finishes in the top 10. There's Gerster's 2 wins, and of course the one for Michener, that was the night before the 500. Talk about Dan Dryden. He's always been fast. In fact, so far in 10 races on pavement this season, he's been the fast qualifier 9 times, including tonight. The difference this season is reliability.
He's been able to finish races. He's always been up front every time we've seen him, but he couldn't finish. This year, he has been finishing, and when he finishes, he's been up front. He changed the race car. He lowered the driver 3 inches. He moved the engine forward. He moved the left side shocks in. All made that race car handle better. He's really happy with it, and he's really, really fast on the pavement.
With 12 races to go this season, half of those are on pavement. He will be tough. Let's take a look at the top qualifiers right now. The top 6, once again, Dryden is fast. The significance, Larry, of showing the top 6.
Well, they invert the 6 fastest cars. In this scenario, if all 6 of these guys make the feature race, Tracy Hines and Mike Bliss will be on the front row. Mike Bliss is going to be very tough to beat from the front row.
Well, yeah, we talked about Dryden being a mechanic for the IndyCar series a few years ago. He worked with Michael and Mario Andretti with Newman Haas. There's no secret. He wants to go IndyCar racing. He looked to the IRL for next season. However, he's going to get an IndyCar sooner than that.
He's going to get in an AIS car this weekend, at Fort Collins, Colorado. First time he's ever been in an Indy car. He's very excited. It's a 92 Lola with a Buick engine. He's going to be ready. Get there. Let me
Now, Dave, this is for you. 2 weeks ago it was hot and humid. We enjoyed some ice cream while we were still on the air. We'll make every effort this evening to get the ice cream to you in the pits. But right now, we're going to the air-conditioned broadcast booth.
Hey, it's cool and comfortable down here, guys. It'll be the most exciting thing since frozen yogurt. It's USAC Midget Racing, and it'll happen right after the break. We'll be back with the heat races. Stay with us. This ESPN Speed World presentation of Thunder is brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. And by Kellogg's, with good taste, nutrition, and value. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's. All right, they have a broadcast booth with air conditioning. I have a chair with my name on it. I don't know who this imposter is. The road to victory lane starts right here tonight with 3 qualifying heat races. Top 5 from each go straight to the feature. Non-qualifiers go into the semifinal race. That'll set the field for tonight's money and point paying 30-lapper. The cars are on the racetrack. You don't want to be hearing from me. Let's go topside. Gary and Larry.
All right, 3 heat races this evening. We'll take 5 from each heat race. The inverted start, once again, the fastest on the rear. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for heat race #1. Bill Bowie and Chuck Leary occupy row 1. Robbie Flock from the West Coast and Ryan Newman, the teenager, in the second row. In row 3 on the inside is Jeff Howerton. Ronnie John Cox will start outside row 3. In row 4, it's Steve Barth and Randy Tolsma. And rounding out the field, your fast qualifier Dan Drynan and Jeff Hunt, who did not have a time in qualifying. We understand now that Jeff Hunt has been scratched from this heat race.
Well, of course, he's the young man that took such a terrible tumble here the last time that we were here, and they have rebuilt the car. Actually, I think it's a brand-new race car, so they're obviously having some first-time out woes with that new race car.
Well, there's a look at Danny Drynan. He builds the car. That is a Brayton power plant. Jim Wright, who builds that engine, is here this evening. And, of course, he once again is a fast qualifier. 9 out of 10 pavement races. He has been quick and holds the track record at virtually all those pavement tracks.
Notice how he sits in the race car. See how low and how far forward his rear end is? He's almost laying down in that race car, unlike a lot of these guys who sit exactly straight up. All that helps the CGs of the race car.
Bill Bowie brings them off the corner. Looks like a good start as Bart takes a look on the inside, but we should have a good start that time. And Chuck Leary, the Rookie of the Year from a couple of years back, takes the lead in that black number 30 Leary Brothers Construction entry.
Yeah, he jumped out into a good lead. Bowie did not get a very good start at all. We got a battle going in there into turn 3.
John Cox takes second in that white number 8. The yellow 62 of Ryan Newman, a 17-year-old high school-to-be senior, is in third. Fourth is Bowie. Remember, the top 5 will transfer.
Yeah, Leary hanging on there, but believe me, right now, John Cox is right on his tail. Newman hanging on, and that's Randy Tolsma in the 48 car, that Hawk car that's just moved into third place from clear back in 6th spot.
Well, you've got 2 beasts up in front. A Hawk is in third, and then a Kenyon chassis is in 4th. And there is Randy Tolsma on the high side, gets around John Cox, pulls up behind Leary. He looks to be the fastest out there right now. As we talked a couple of weeks ago, although he's had very few rides as far as competition, he has done more testing on this racetrack than anyone this season for a number of different teams in midget sprints and silver crown cars.
Yeah, it looks like he might get trapped. He trapped what's his
John Cox.
John Cox down there, excuse me. He trapped John Cox the lap before. John Cox almost got up the side of him and trapped him. He gave Leary a little bit of a tap.
Oh, and he gets tapped. And of course, we have to thank the Tolsma family, Randy, his wife Tiffany, for providing us the ties we're wearing this evening, but he says we got to give them back.
There, Randy's going to try it again. He's down on the inside.
He has it.
No, he doesn't. Leary hangs on side by side. Real close competition.
He has it.
Oh, he hasn't. I tell you what, Leary hung on. He made him earn it the hard way because he had to hang that low groove clear around the corner. Leary looks like his tire might get a little hard, but it looks like Drynan's having a little bit of trouble.
Will have to go through the semi if he cannot move up about 3 positions. 5 will transfer, and he is back a ways.
Very unusual for Danny Drynan. We've seen him move through the traffic very, very quickly. He's stuck back in 7th position right now, and he just doesn't seem to be able to move up. He might have just missed the combination just a hair on this setup for this race.
Look at the gap that has developed between first and second. There's a battle for second. John Cox sticks his nose down low and goes by Leary. Leary drops to third. Now only 2 laps to go, but pulling away out front is Randy Tolsma.
Tolzma and John Cox both seem to be the fastest two cars here in this heat race. John Cox did a very nice job early. Tolzma moved up very quickly. Once he got in the lead, he did pull away pretty fast.
Now you're looking at a battle for that 5th and final transfer spot. That is 6th and 7th right there. Oh, he had a look on the inside of Barth, almost made contact. The blue 22 is Jeff Howerton. Then it's Steve Barth, the yellow 14. 5th, 6th, and 7th is the white 33, and there is the checkered flag.
John Cotter. Tolzma wins the race. He did not make the race. Dryden had to gain one more spot going into that corner. Could not do it. He's going to have to run the semi. Very unusual for him. He's been very quick at this racetrack almost every time he's been on.
But as you say, he may have missed the setup, but unlike the heat races, the semi starts straight up. So as the fast qualifier, he'll be starting up front.
Well, there's no doubt he's unless he has some terrible trouble, he's going to make the race. But it's just a little troublesome. I'm sure it's troublesome to him, too, that he wasn't any quicker than he was in that race.
So Tolzma takes the victory with a clocking of 2:53.80, 2 minutes 53 and 81 seconds. We'll come back and talk to Randy. Stay with us.
Randy Tolzma, midget racer extraordinaire and ESPN fashion coordinator for the evening, wins the first of our qualifying heat races, overrunning John Cox, Chuck Leary, Jeff Howerton, and Steve Barth. Gary and Larry have asked me, first of all, to say thank you very much for those tasteful neckties. You really want them back?
Well, maybe it's good luck for us. We'll supply them every week now.
We've talked a lot about the testing that you've been doing up here in a lot of different kinds of cars. Obviously, you haven't forgotten how to race as well. That was a pretty impressive move through traffic. 6th to 1st that quickly. Does that bode well for the main event?
Well, when a Hawk race car is this good, Mike Stryker's put a wonderful car underneath me, and it's just been fabulous to get in and to get work with people that have a good knowledge. And, you know, you can see there the car goes anywhere I want to put it. And you know, Chuck gave me some good racing room, and the professional driver he is, and it allowed us to get out front where we needed to be to win the races and get on TV.
He wasn't going to make it easy, though, for you, was he? He held his own pretty good up there on the high line.
Yeah, he didn't move out of my way any, but it's a good race car, and Hoosier Tire's given us a great tire tonight. And, you know, of course, the people that have been behind me with Redline Oil and Spies Hecker have just brought me to this level.
Okay, man, go get him in the feature.
Thanks. Thank you.
That's Randy Tolzma. He's come away the heat race winner. We'll go see if we can find out what's up with Dryden and come back with more of the action here from Indianapolis Raceway Park, where the Thunderheads are just digging ever many of. But we'll be right back. We are thundering on a Thursday night from Indianapolis Raceway Park. The heat wave has finally broken a little bit, but for Dan Dryden, the heat is on. Fast qualifier, but went nowhere in that heat race. What's the story?
We caught some debris, cut a tire down. I didn't know it was going down. The car just was real loose. I tried to get up to that 4th spot to get that transfer, and it was a pretty wild ride there for a little bit.
Now, right there at the tail end of the race, I was wondering if we were going to see Dryden in the fence. You'll start up front in the semi. I assume it'll be no problem getting through into the main event, eh?
I don't think so, but, you know, we're here to race, and we got to get through that. We can go to the next one.
Okay, man. Sorry about the problem. Good luck. He, of course, is our most recent winner of the midgets here on Thunder. He won 2 weeks ago. Quick update on Jeff Hunt. The oil pump failed on the car that had flipped so spectacularly here 2 weeks ago. They rebuilt it, thought they had it fixed. Apparently, there was still a problem with it. They do have a new pump. He will race tonight. We'll go back topside for the second heat.
Well, this heat race, Larry, could be worth the price of admission. Here is your starting lineup: Jeff Sands and Jason Leffler. Leffler from the West Coast. In the front row, Chris Schultz and Tice Carlson. Row 2. Look at row 3. Kenny Irwin Jr. and Brian Gerster. And in row 4, on the inside, Mike Bliss and Andy Mitchner. Kenneth Nichols was to round out the field. That car has been scratched for the heat race. He will go to the semi.
Yeah, this is going to be a heck of a race. There's Kenny Irwin. He has our in-car camera in this race. You know, it's the first time he's carried this thing for a while. Of course, he's terrific on the pavement. This is where he kind of broke his teeth when he first got in here. Of course, the Wins Challenge here, good for $1,000 tonight, and that's his sponsor as well.
Well, of course, the Wins Challenge was collected by Dan Dryden 2 weeks ago. As we look out the back of the car to Mike Bliss. Mike subbing for defending national midget champion Tony Stewart in the Steve Lewis Performance Racing Magazine white number 9, the Beast, with the red pink engine. Outside car is in.
Outside that front row, P.J. Jones is chief mechanic on Jason Leffler's car tonight. I was talking to him earlier. I'll say more about that later.
Wouldn't we like to see P.J. in that midget this evening? Well, there is the start as you ride along with Kenny Irwin. Look at the tight quarters entering turn. Look at 3 abreast entering the corner.
Traffic everywhere. He's got cars on both sides of him trying to keep from hitting either one of them.
Baxter went by on the right side. Bliss went by on the left side. And you were riding with him. Let's stick with this shot if we can. A good shot Off the corner down the front straightaway.
Look at a great job Mike Bliss is doing. He ran the whole corner on the bottom. Again, the second, that's not the fastest groove down there. He's running that low groove and staying very quick. As Tice Carlson looks like he made a real quick move.
And he almost put Bliss in the fence as Carlson was all over that track going down the backstretch entering turn 3. Now you're riding in 5th position right now.
Look at Carlson again, moving up. Bliss trying to find a way around him. Can't find a way to go on either side of Carlson. Carson's just a little too fast and moving around a little too much. There he goes. He's on the inside of him now.
He makes the move into 3rd position, challenges for 2nd. Schultz, no, it's Sands up there leading. He goes by Schultz. Schultz drops down to 4th as Tyson goes by. As we continue to ride in the 5th position. Now there is a look at your leader. Only took 2 laps for Mike Bliss to go from that 4th row inside starting position to take the lead, and he starts to pull away.
He does pull away. Tice Carlson now moved into 2nd place. Did a nice job getting around Sands there. As that's Kenny Irwin in their camera car now challenging for the 3rd position.
Into turn 3, now into turn 4. They look down the front straightaway, half the race. 4 laps down, 4 laps to go. You look back there at Jeff Sands. Now once again, if Bliss can win this thing or transfer from this heat race, he starts in the front row. He could be tough to deal with.
Very, very tough. And this is a transfer spot back here. Whoa, look, as Mitchell gets a little bit sideways getting in there as he goes around Schultz. He's moved into a transfer spot now. That's what he was after.
Gerster has yet to transfer. Gerster, having won 3 times this season, he has yet to into a transfer position. He led the points for a while.
And let's look at Mitzer. He's down on the inside of Sands. Sands seems to be handling. He told us last week he had a little trouble with the engine. He thought he had it sorted out. Looks much, much better this week. He's running just a few car lengths out of 3rd spot right now.
There's 2nd and 3rd. The 17 car of Tice Carlson, and there he's being challenged on the inside as Kenny Irwin goes on by, up to 2nd position.
Irwin did a nice job. Tice Carlson told me the other day he's going to sell all of his open wheel cut stuff and go to the trucks pretty quick.
Well, obviously he's not sold that midget here. It's a battle for a transfer spot. Gerster is now in 6th position. There's the battle for the lead, and Irwin goes by. Irwin won that sprint car race just 1 week ago, the one that got rained on Thursday, came back to win it on Friday. Bliss drops to 2nd.
I have to believe Mike Bliss had no idea anybody was catching him that fast because Irwin caught him in one straightaway and went right on around him. Gee, he was going fast.
And Bliss does transfer, but he takes 2nd position behind Irwin, but he will then start on the front row for the feature.
Kenny Irwin is very excited. He was very happy. He's had a lot of tough luck the last few times out in his midget. He's really, really happy to be handling that fast. Look at him, man. Thumbs up. Good job, Kenny.
And he knew where the camera was, too.
That's right. That's a mark by heads-up driver. You know where the cameras are at all times.
Always get your sponsored mention, and make sure you know where the cameras are. Of course, the camera's right behind his head right now as the Wins car comes to victory. And as you say, I think that Bliss must have thought he was just cruising along there in overdrive.
He's taking an extra lap. He's so excited. But I tell you, he's had some crashes. He's had some problems. They've got a tail on that thing. It's not even painted. And he's very excited to be going as fast as he is.
Well, there's a look at Kenny Irwin, who wins it. Bliss, Michener, Carlson, and Sands. And we'll come back and visit with Kenny.
Hey, ESPN loves racing, and races like this would have to be considered the reason why Kenny Irwin Jr. gets around Mike Bliss on the last lap, comes home a winner. Michener, Carlson, and Sands round out the top 5. Guy didn't want to run that onboard camera very bad. We talked him into it. He gave us some great shots of Bliss's run to the front, and then all of a sudden you run up there and pass him. How'd you do that?
Well, I don't think he was too ready for it. He kind of got out quick, and that probably helped us out quite a bit. Us, having to come back, and I don't think he was ready for it, but our car's running good, so that's all that matters.
Sneaked up on him a little bit. You've been all beat up and had more bad luck in the last month, I think, than any other race driver in America. It must feel good to come back from that and win one.
It sure does. It sure does. We run good in the sprint car, and hopefully we're going to run good tonight. If I can keep Bliss behind me, we will.
I want to ask you about that. Mike has been nice enough to come up here and join us, so we'll talk to him in a minute, but I got a feeling that 30-lap thing, Drynen's going to get going again. We know that. He's going to be here. You're tough. This could be a real midget main event tonight, don't you think?
I think it's going to be, and I would like to thank Wins Oil Company for all their help.
Okay, man, you get ready to go to work. I want to step over here, if we can just stay with it a second, and talk to Mike Bliss and find out a little bit more about what happened there. Looked like you had him covered. You know, you went through the traffic very impressively. I don't know if we got any pictures of that, but anyway, we do have Mike here. Can we show him some of that? It's chaos down here. We don't want to get run over, but Mike Bliss came up second. Take a look at this. Now, this is the battle on the last lap for the pass. The question is, Mike Bliss, did you know he was there? Did you know he was coming?
I had a feeling somebody had to be there because I was terrible in the center of the corner. We were real loose, so I figured, well, we slowed down, and somebody's going to come up behind me and go right around me. So I just, it was Kenny, and I just, didn't fight him off or anything, but Kenny drove right around me, and it was a good job.
You're going to be up front for the feature. You're going to have to take him on again. You're going to have Drynan to deal with. Same question to you. What kind of main event we're going to see here tonight?
A fast one, I'm sure it'll be a fast one. Andy Michener's going to be there, Kenny Irwin. It's going to be a fast main event, and I think we're going to do it without no yellows in a record time.
Okay, man, good luck. Can we stay one more second because Andy Michener has popped up here. It's a mob scene in Victory Circle. I'll tell you what, with all those fast guys out here, you in the middle of this championship point battle must have been wondering which way they went. What was up with you in that heat?
Well, we're just waiting for the traffic to get sorted out a little bit. We got caught behind there, and they got a real good jump on it, and we're a couple more laps. If it had been a 15 lap, we would have been close, but no, we're happy with the car. It's a new Timmy Tech chassis, and we're sorting it out. And like Bliss said, it's going to be a real fast race.
Okay, man, good luck. This is going to be a ding-dong feature tonight. I guarantee you that. They're hollering in my ear, give me a break, give me a break. We got to get in a commercial. We got more heat races coming up. Stick with us. We're at Indianapolis Raceway Park with all of these thunderheads, and this is the kind of action that keeps us coming back here week after week. Hey, from Formula One in Germany to Midgets at IRP, Speed Week covers it all. The racing world, top to bottom and front to back, every Friday night, just past midnight, 12:30 a.m. East, 9:30 p.m. out on the left-hand coast. We are set to rock and roll with the third of our qualifying heat races tonight. If the first two are any indication, this is going to be a sensational Thursday night thunder. And Gary and Larry, pretty nice-looking lineup of talent here, too.
Some pretty nice paint jobs out there, too. I like that number 40 car. We'll talk about Davey Hamilton momentarily. He starts on the pole, number 40, alongside number 41, Phil French. In the second row, we'll have Jack Runyon, number 3, and Mike Fedorchak back after an absence of some 3 years in the Munchkin. Then David Bridges in 95, Jimmy McCune in 68. And then the fourth row on the inside, Tracy Hines, number 7, and 69, the veteran Johnny Parsons in number 69, starting outside row 4, and Aaron Truax in 112 in row 5. And there, I like the paint job on that car. That's a pretty race car.
Well, of course, this is a Team Menard car. Larry Curry owns this car, who is the team manager for Team Menard, the IndyCar team. Bill Martin, excuse me, the chief mechanic for Scott Drayton, is working on this car. They've just taken it all apart, put it all back together. And, of course, Scott Drayton had an accident at the Speedway in a stock car earlier this week. He's okay. I think he's been released already. But Davey Hamilton has got this ride for tonight. It's a beautiful race car. It looks painted just like the Indy cars, and he's excited about it.
And he'll be taking us for a ride as well as we look back. And there is a look at Larry Curry. He is the car owner.
You know, that's all those guys are really Team Menard guys. They all work on the Indy cars. This is what they kind of do for fun. You know, that's their job. This is
they're racers.
That's right. They're racers. They want to do this and have fun at it as well as be their job.
Hey, looky back there, red, white, and blue, Mr. Patriotic, Johnny Parsons. John is having one of his best seasons in many, many years. 29 times he's won in midget competition with the USAC banner. He's 10th in the all-time midget win list. A little ragged start there. The green comes out. Let's see if it stays out. Look at that move by Runyon down low.
Runyon right on the inside, got a big jump on Hamilton and pulled right on around.
And it's not going to last. Once again, every week we explain it. This week it's your turn.
Well, they do that. They go ahead and throw the green flag. They throw the yellow on the back straightaway. The thinking being that by the time they get to the back straightaway, it's more strung out. It's less likely to have an accident. So that's just the way USAC elects to do it. They drop the green, throw the yellow as they come out of turn 2. That way everybody has a better chance to not get in an accident. At least that's what they think.
Now you can see why that was not a good start. Right there is 3 abreast, the start-finish line. Runyon way down low. He came out of his inside second row starting position to make it 3 wide. And obviously the pole man is supposed to have about a wheel to start-finish line.
Well, that's right. The pole guy is supposed to set the pace. Everybody is supposed to follow him. Runyon got a little bit excited, got a little bit of an advantage, and they decided to make him go back and try it again. Hamilton and French and that CarX car both came down pretty even. Runyon is the one that kind of jumped outside, and you can't blame him. I mean, that's the name of the game. If you can get an advantage, you've got to do it, and he just got a little bit too much of an advantage on that start.
We'll try it again as they come side by side. A good start this time. Once again, Runyon goes down low. He likes the low side. Phil French and the Eddie Griffithone car takes the lead. There goes Runyon to the inside of the number 40 car. You look back at the Fedorchak number 5 Munchkin, and he's going to make a move to the inside.
You watch Hamilton. He comes up. Boy, he almost got into Runyon as Runyon went up in front of him. Got out of it just in time, and there we see Fedorchak in the 5 car also getting around him. So Hamilton not having a whole lot of luck right now with that Menard car. He's of Larry Curry's. That's John Parsons right behind him, and he's dropped from first.
Parsons jumped by him.
Yeah, he's dropped clear back almost to last spot. There's obviously a problem with that car.
Davey did not qualify well at all. That's why he got started up on the pole for this race. And it looks like that Phil French number 41 car is long gone. Here's a good battle for the second position between the Munchkin and the blue number 5. That's Fedorchak.
He wanted to be sure and say car X. We never mentioned his sponsor last week, so I promised him we'd do that this week. But look at Jack running in the black number 3. He's in second. Mike Fedorchak in that blue number 5. Right on his bumper. Those guys running second and third. But look at the whole train right behind him. That's David Bridges right behind, running in fourth in that yellow car.
McCune goes to the inside of Bridges. That's the battle of a couple of youngsters there. That's the battle for the 4th position. McCune is 5th. Parsons is back there in 6th position. The blue number 5, that Munchkin, has been away from Raceway Park for about 5 years. In fact, 5 years ago, he set a track record in qualifying, did Fedorchak, and later that same night, Jeff Gordon came back and broke his track record.
And now, look at this. Bridges did a nice job. The Munchkin moved down. Fedorchak moved down. Bridges moved up on the outside of him, shut off the groove. Then Fedorchak had to stay on the bottom, and when he did that, he's lost 2 or 3. It's almost like in NASCAR. When you move out of the groove, out of the draft, everybody goes by, and that's exactly what happened to Fedorchak right there.
Keep in mind, Fedorchak is running the Autocrat VW. He has to maintain that rhythm through the corner and the momentum, because that car does not have the horsepower that some of the Pontiacs or the Gerties or the other ones.
Well, exactly. And when he moved down there, had to run a shorter line. He just didn't have the horsepower, didn't have the anything to get by him. And look at this. Parsons in the white car. He's on the outside. He gets around Bridges. Oh, little touches. Bridges slid right up in front. McCune hit him just a little bit. And here goes Parsons on the inside of Runyon, right on around. Parsons is very, very smooth right now.
Parsons in 6th position in the point standings. And over the years, he's kind of been picking and choosing his midgets outings. But this year, he's been a regular with the midget series.
He's been a regular, and he's been fast. That Rusty Kuntz prepared car has been quick every place I've seen it run this year. And look at the transfer spot. This is all. Oh, man, are these guys running close.
That black and yellow 68 is the 5th position. 7th, or the 7 cars in 6th. That's Tracy Hines, and then Fedorchak.
He's one of the fastest 6 qualifiers, and look at this. Parsons has caught Phil French right here at the end. He's got on the inside of it. He got it.
I tell you what, he is going to be one excited guy when he gets to victory lane. Parsons, 6th in point standings. He's finished 2nd like 4 times this season, and he says, you know, a couple of weeks ago he burned up the tire catching Bryant, then he could not make a pass.
Man, he reeled him in like a catfish on a hot line, didn't he? He pulled him in real fast those last couple of laps. He was really on a mission right there at the end. He caught him and just went around him. He made it look real easy.
So Johnny Parsons takes the victory. We'll come back to visit with the guy that has the patriotic red, white, and blue driving suit on. And we'll come back with more from Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Well, we had Phil French just running away with that heat race, didn't we? And it looked like a terrific 6-car battle for 2nd place. But look at the results. They don't reflect that, do they? No, because on the last lap, this old fox came up and caught him and blitzed him. That was a pretty nice move. Did you know you had that in you?
Well, to tell you the truth, Dave, no. But I have a lot of confidence in Doug back here. He does all the work with the car, and Rusty Kuntz. And our car owner, Jay McKinney, gives us the best equipment. And, you know, when you have the best, you know, you can go quick. I saw Phil ahead of us, and I thought, well, there's no way we're going to sit in here. And then the closer I got to him, I noticed his right rear was starting to blister. And he had been leaning on it probably pretty hard to get that lead. But we were a little bit lucky. But then, like I say, the guys work real hard here.
I think we've got videotape of that pass for the lead. Let's take a look at it. You think he knew you were there?
Well, his tire was gone. I knew he was going to be slow and loose. So I tried the lower groove. And she stuck. I tell you, this car has just been awesome around here. It helps. It pays to go test. We came out with Rusty Kuntz and tested with the guys, and this is where I'm turning it down low in the lower groove, and you're not too sure you want to get down here off the bank or she's going to stay with you, but look at that. She just stuck right with us.
And nice. He's sliding around a little bit. Oh, but yeah, he left a little black mark on the wall up there. Parsons says, get out of the way. You're not the guy I want to talk to. Get this lovely lady in here to offer the congratulatory kiss. Johnny Parsons is in great shape for the main event tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a quick break, and we're going to come back and hear from Jeremy Dale right after this timeout. Yeah, that Jeremy Dale. We'll see all that hardware on his leg and find out what his future holds. Stay with us.
ESPN Speed World live from Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Thunder, featuring the SKOAL National Midgets, and the fast qualifier Dan Dryden continues to work on his car. He has a very special crew member this evening, Larry. If you look to the back of the car, the gentleman in the blue jeans right there, upper left of your screen with the printed shirt, is Dr. Harlan Hunter. And for all intent and purposes, Dan Dryden was killed in that midget wreck 3 years ago at Springfield. Dr. Hunter right there is a very avid photographer and race fan. He's a doctor out of the St. Louis area, was shooting some pictures in the third turn, was the first to Dan. Dan was not breathing, had a very faint pulse, and it was the quick action of that man that really saved Dan Dryden's life. They become good friends, and Dr. Hunter and his wife Joanne came in from St. Louis this afternoon, and he's the honorary member of the crew this evening.
Steve Barth down there either helping him put on that tire or trying to steal his secrets. I'm not sure which one right there.
And down there also is Jim Wright, the engine builder on that car. I'm not sure where Jim is right now, but let's go back to the pit area and Dave Despain.
Let's pursue the medical theme. We talk about racing technology. I'm glad this technology exists. This is something called an Elizarov external fixator. I know that from personal experience. And the man who wears it probably would rather be without it, but I guess all things considered is happy that he at least has a chance to wear it. Jeremy Dale, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen that horrendous crash at Road Atlanta that has left him wearing this, but otherwise smiling and seemingly doing pretty well. Tell me about your progress, Jeremy.
Well, I don't have a real frame of reference for this kind of thing because I've never hurt myself. But I think I'm doing okay. You know, we've been putting weight on my legs. I've been up on crutches. You know, I've got reasonable movement in my joints. You know, I haven't lost 40 pounds. You know, I've only lost about 10 pounds. And, you know, I've got Dr. Terry Trammell here in town that's taking great care of me. And I've got my family with me who's taking great care of me. And, you know, I'm just working as hard as I can to get back to do what I love to do.
And I want to get to that, but first, I don't want to see that crash again. What I want to see is a brighter moment. I want to see this guy en route to victory in the 24 Hours of Daytona in that Bricks Oldsmobile, because that was the way the season started. And with that as a backdrop, let's talk about the future. When you take this kind of a hit, this kind of a crash, where does it leave you in terms of your attitude toward racing and what you want to do once you're healed up?
Well, I just, you know, I had some plans, you know, and, you know, I want to, you know, I want to get back in a race car. That's what I love to do. And, you know, to win that Daytona 24-hour was a real thrill for, you know, me and Harry Bricks, our team owner, and, of course, Motorola, our main sponsor. And, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to get back in a race car and we want to win races. And, you know, that's what's important to us.
Well, and any kind of a time frame in your mind? I'm sure the doctor's telling you, no, take your time. There's no hurry about this, but racers tend to try to accelerate those timetables. Have you got a date in mind, a target?
Yeah, the doctors always want to go the longest possible period, and the drivers always want to go the shortest possible period. And probably somewhere in the middle there is, you know, what the realistic time frame is. You know, I guess in a sense, I'm lucky that I had my accident back in April and that I've got, you know, most of the summer and most of the fall to get healthy again. I would like to be driving something again in November, and you know, that'll help me get strong and get fit, and, you know, I'll obviously be working out and continue with my therapy. I'd like to get home to Toronto soon and continue with therapy up there. So, you know, there's lots of things going on in my mind, but I'll be back in a race car. There's no question about that.
The heart of a racer beats strong indeed. Good to see you out here enjoying the show tonight. Jeremy Dale coming along great in his recovery here in Indianapolis. Let's talk about records. Billy Boat broke the mark. Consecutive USAC National Championship Series victories for the Midgets. It happened in the Western State Series, and here's how it went.
On Saturday, Billy Boat tried to rewrite the USAC record book as he sought his 8th straight victory in the Western States Division at Bakersfield Speedway. Boat in the Black 15 provided some early excitement while battling Larry Brown for the lead in the third heat. Boat passed Brown out of 4 and beat Brown to the line by a foot. During intermission, Boat and car owner John Lawson were honored for tying the USAC win record. All of Boat's wins this season have come in Lawson's Midgets. Boat had the pole for the 30-lap feature and led the 20-car field to the first turn. Boat had a healthy lead when a John Cofer flip on lap 8 brought out the red flag. On the restart, Hank Butcher tried to slide under Boat in turn 1, but couldn't make it stick. While Boat pulled away, Butcher had his hands full, holding off Rick Hendricks for second. But with 4 laps to go, Butcher's car lost power on the backstretch and had to retire. Neither Hendricks nor anyone else could catch Boat as he led all 30 laps and cruised to the record-breaking victory.
Well, I think it gives us some momentum going into the Belleville Nationals for in 2 weeks. You know, that's a real big race that we're looking forward to running. And then, you know, now the pressure's off. We got the record. You know, if we take it farther from here, fine. You know, we're always going to be here to win every one. But if something happens, we don't. The pressure's kind of off, and we can just start another streak.
Well, of course, that was in the Western States Midget Division, and here is a look at all the venues where he was victorious in that John Lawson Midget, 8 straight so far this season. And now, once again, that is for the Western States Midgets. As we take a look at all-time career wins on the West Coast, Billy Boat now with 16. Sleepy Trip still leads with 97. Robbie Flock now is second with 37.
Yeah, that's right. It's been, you know, it's been a great run for him. I did have a call from Bob Nowicki. He wanted to remind me that Lloyd Ruby won 9 in a row back in the old AAA days one time. So back
you were racing back then,
1948. No, I wasn't racing. But Nowicki was in his car, so we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that. Of course, Vukovic and Vogler have the record in the National Series. So,
all right. Oh, there you go. Who is that? That's Speedo the Clown. Going to go out and entertain the fans here. It's a beautiful sunset in Indiana from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Come right back with us.
Welcome back. Good luck to Chris Schultz and everybody else out here tonight on Thursday Night Thunder at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Look at the fans who have packed into this place. This, of course, is the raciest place in America. Quick update on Hamilton. He says the motor runs, but it's very weak. The handling is poor. Otherwise, the car's just great. He just took some practice laps in that heat race and then pulled off. They're checking the fuel system, and he hopes to be back and running good. That's the update on Davey Hamilton. Let's talk about what's coming up here in Indianapolis. Can you say Brickyard 400? It's going to be exciting. There's been a lot of testing going on this week, but it hasn't all gone particularly well. Let's go to some videotape of what happened out here earlier in the week. Scott Brayton, of course, is very well known for his activity in an Indy car. He climbed into Earl Sadler's number 95 machine. There's Brayton getting a taste of stock car racing, but I'm afraid it has left a bit of a bad taste in his mouth because that car got into the wall in the short chute off turn number 1. It looks pretty here. It didn't look pretty when it was all over. There's the big black mark on the wall, and somewhere in the creek over on the museum side of the racetrack is where the thing ended up, and it was pretty scary. They had to airlift Brayton out of here, and there was a lot of concern at first, but within an hour, he was on the phone to the team saying, hey, I'm okay. The diagnosis, a concussion and a chipped bone in his ankle, and I'm told just minutes ago that Scott Brayton is, in fact, out of the hospital. Unfortunately, he will not drive the race. He was one of many stars out here testing the Brickyard racetrack. Let's take a look at what happened during the testing activity. Hey, 16 teams out on Tuesday afternoon testing. There's Rick Mast. Rusty Wallace was there, 4th place finisher last year. 9-time most popular driver. Last year's 3rd place finisher, Bill Elliott, on hand. With the news that a record $4.5 million will be on the line in the Brickyard. Well, Rick Mast hasn't been this excited since he won the pole last year.
Now, we get so many questions about Indy, getting on the pole and all that from the fans and everybody, but, you know, when I think about Indy last year, I think about a missed opportunity. You know, you get a car that acts like ours did last year once every 2 or 3 years. You know, the car was just on a rail the whole time we were here. You know, we popped out the 4th turn of the 2nd lap. We're down on 7 cylinders, you know, so we run the whole race on 7 cylinders.
All right, check this out. Don't recognize that paint job? Me either. Don't recognize that number? Well, me either. Wait a minute. Orange and black. Think about it. Could it be? Yes, indeed. Back in Gasoline Alley one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, how many more years can this 60-year-old squeeze out of his career? Whoa, who wrote that? A.J. Foyt says this is not what it appears. His knee hurts. Makes it hard to get in and out. I wonder if he's really going to race the Brickyard. I tell you, what a guy. Biggest cheer I heard all last year at the Brickyard was when A.J. pulled in after the race. We'll tell you all about ESPN's big plans for the racing week coming up here in Indianapolis, and then we'll jump right into the semifinal action at IRP. Stay with us. Hey, it is the Kroger Festival of Speed at Indianapolis Raceway Park, kicking off next Wednesday night. How about wild action from the USAC Silver Crown cars? These things are terrific on this racetrack, and you know what? It will probably be our last chance to see Mike Bliss at the wheel of one of these cars. He's bound for the Super Trucks. You'll see this show live on the Deuce at 8:30 Wednesday and on ESPN Thursday at 7:30 right before, you got it, the NASCAR Super Trucks. Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, the points leader, Butch Miller, vying for the inaugural honors. The action-packed trading cards, 150. I'm going to be here. BP Benny Parsons is going to be here. It's going to be way cool, and you're going to see it live on ESPN. They don't call them cars anymore. These are trucks, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see them at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday, right after the Silver Crown race. Wrap it up for the 14th year with the Busch Grand National Series, the Kroger 200, Friday under the lights. Johnny Benson and Chad Little continuing their battle for the series championship. ESPN begins its live coverage at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Hot August nights on One Hot Network. We'll see you next week in Indianapolis. All right, they are big crowd here tonight, and we've also moved the temporary bleachers in, and we are going to fill this place all the way around next week for that Busch Grand National race. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be here all week. I may put a pup tent in the infield. I may not leave this place next week. It is going to be heaven for racing fans. Quick word on Brian Gerster, had led the midget points. Big changes in that car. They went to softer springs. They said the car was binding up and pushing badly. They think they're close, but they're still chasing the chassis. He's going out with what is described as a best guess setup as we select the final few qualifiers here for the 30-lap main event. I'll tell you what, it's been an exciting evening so far. And Gary and Larry, I think it's just going to get better.
Well, I'm wondering if Johnny Parsons might be offering some secret setups there. He's the one riding the Nerf bar.
Well, obviously, he's, you know, they're teammates. They share a lot of information. I'm sure John's trying to help him as much as he can. And John has been really fast here both the last two times they've been here. But every driver is a little bit different. So right now I think we've got something that I did a little earlier about some heads-up driving.
Heads-up driving, is that like riding along with the car and the camera? Let's take a look at this piece with Larry Rice.
Okay. The last time the midgets were here at IRP on Thunder, you might recall that Ryan Newman and Chuck Leary got together down in turns 1 and 2. Leary got upside down, sparks flew, and it was pretty spectacular. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. There were several cars close behind. One of those was Jeff Sands with our in-car camera. Here Jeff is coming off of turn 2 down into turn 3. The green light is on the right side. He's looking at the car smoking in front of him, trying to figure out what's going to happen. Coming off of turn 4, the green light is still on. Cars are already entering turn 1. Right here, the yellow flag comes on. All 4 of these guys move to the inside, missing the accident. These guys all were heads up, watching far in front of them. Watch again. 3 cars are past that yellow light. When it comes on, they all get slowed down and miss the accident. They did a fine job. Nobody else got involved.
Well, I think, Larry, the observation that Johnny Parsons made, he could tell from the right rear earlier that a tire was being blistered. The longer you drive, the wider the visibility is, and you can look way out ahead and observe and take in all kinds of data.
There's so many aspects in driving a race car. You not only have to look far ahead, you got to look at the tires of the guy in front of you, you got to look at the smoke when it comes out. You got to be heads up 100% of the time. Dave, you got a special guest down there, I guess.
Yeah, check out the name on the little four-wheeler here. We're all thinking about Paige Jones. Think about him every day. Look here, big brother PJ playing chief mechanic tonight. How's it feel to be on the other side of the racetrack?
You know, it's good. Jason's, helped us. Jason Leffort's helped us out a lot in the past when Paige and I were running, and he runs out of our shop back in California, and we've always, kept interest in him, and trying to help him out, trying to get him some laps around this place.
I hear you call Paige every day. Everybody wants to know, how's he getting along? I hear that question more, I think, than anything else all year. How's he getting along?
He's doing great. I mean, he's talking up a storm. He told me the other day, he says, I lost my voice for 7 months. He says, I'm not going to shut up now. So, his spirits are good. He's in great shape. He's just working on getting back closer and closer to normal every day, and keep sending those cards and letters because they help. My mom reads them to him every day. So
I know you're supposed to be going to work, but I'm going to keep you here for one more question because you're coming right back here next week, and you're going to be back in the cockpit where you belong. Talk to me a little about that Super Truck Series and about the race coming up here. You excited about it?
Yeah, we are. You know, Bliss conned me into staying and waiting for him to fly him out to Kansas tonight, so we're headed there this evening to run Topeka. And next week we were here Tuesday testing in the Die Hard Chevrolet, and it seems to be good, and we're looking forward to it. And just Mike and I both have a lot of laps around here. I don't know if we can if that's going to help us with the other guys out there, but it's going to be a tough race. We saw the Busch cars run here before, and it's going to be hard to pass. I think you're going to see a lot of close racing.
Okay, man. You can be a hero next week. Tonight, you got to go get your hands dirty. You go to work. That is P.J. Jones. He is the crew chief tonight for Leffler. Page Jones' address. You want to drop him a note? Do so. He'd love to hear from you as he works his way back to normal. And we will take a quick break here. The cars are on the racetrack. They do a little racetrack cleanup. That's all done. We'll be ready for the semifinal when we come back to IRP.
Back live at Raceway Park, a young Stan Fox fan there. Get well, Stan, and we've got some great news on Stan Fox as well.
Hey, he was out last night. He stopped by Bobby's shop. Of course, he drove the 9 car for a long, long time. Stopped by there. Bob wasn't there, but Bob says he's glad he's out and around, and we're all glad he's out and around. Here's where you can ride him. He's still at the Rehabilitation Hospital. Go ahead.
No, well, you say he's out and about. He had a 4-hour leave last night.
He got a pass.
To get out.
That's right.
His wife took him out, took him for a ride. He got out last weekend again, so he's making great progress. We're delighted to pass that information along. Stan, I know you're watching. We'd love to have you back here at the racetrack. Front row, Dan Dryden, fast qualifier. Tracy Hines alongside. In the second row, Brian Gerster, third in points. Mike Fedorchak and the Munchkin outside. Ryan Newman, Chris Schultz, row 3. Row 4 on the inside, Robbie Flock from California. Outside, Jason Leffler, also from California. Row 5, Davey Hamilton from Idaho, and Bill Bowie. In the 6th row, Kenneth Nichols and Aaron Truax. In row 7, Jeff Hunt. Now, Hunt will have to come from the back of the pack. And this was just a couple of weeks ago. This is what happened, not in the same race car, mind you. But this is just 2 weeks ago, and look at this wild ride this youngster takes.
He got up on the black stuff, way up in the gray, got down on the back straightaway, hit the outside wall, and once that thing got on the left side, boy, she took one wild ride. Right there is where it really hurt. That car was destroyed. This is a different race car. I'm not sure whether this is the brand new one or their other car. I think this is the brand new race car. That's one of the reasons they've had a little bit of trouble getting it ready to go tonight.
What I hear is Mom said one more ride like that, and she's going to yank him out of the cockpit.
That's right.
All right, we ride with Davey Hamilton as we're coming down for the start. Starting straight up, the fastest in front, your fast qualifier, Dan Dryden, has the lead going into turn 1. The top 7 will transfer.
Yeah, Hamilton said this car wasn't exactly at its best, as we see Jeff Hunt from the back already getting around him, trying to get up into the first 5. The first 5 are all that will transfer. 7. Excuse me, Gary, you're right, 7. They're going to have a 22-car field instead of 20 tonight.
So your leader is Dan Dryden. That's Tracy Hines, who is riding in second. Mike Fedorchak is now in third. Incidentally, Fedorchak's car, that blue Munchkin there, is owned by Dick Myers, who's a Chrysler engineer. He is working on that Viper program, that V12 package that Chrysler plans to run at Daytona in the 24 hours and at Le Mans next year.
Yeah, that's quite a project in itself. And look at Tracy Hines, and here comes Fedorchak down on the inside. He can't make it work. Dryden still, though, look at this. Hines tore down on the inside of him. Can't make it stick. Has to fall into second.
Well, keep in mind, the guys running 1, 2, and 4 have more horsepower than what the 5 car does. The Munchkin has that Autocraft VW. They're giving up just a little horsepower to these bigger engines.
Well, they certainly are. He's always made it up in handling, but I tell you, the race cars today handle so well, all of them, that he doesn't have the advantage he had when he first built that race car, I don't think.
I'm a little curious because Tracy Hines had a run at Dryden. Now Dryden starts to pull away as we watch this battle for second. You just saw there for a moment a glimpse of that gap between first and second. Hines runs second in that orangey red and black car. There's the blue number 5 riding in third. Fourth now is Gerster. Fifth is Ryan Newman.
Oh, look at Jason Leffler down there in that 71 car, real sideways smoking the tire as he got way, way too low on the racetrack, it looked like.
Schultz trying to get under Newman there for a moment. Newman in that yellow 62. Schultz in the 70 car. And here comes Robbie Flock. Flock, the 3-time Western States champion back here in the Midwest this season racing.
Schultz is really battling down there on the low side, but he can't make it stick. Nichols gets around in the 16 car. Now then he's trying to work on Flock. Flock can't make it work. Boy, what a battle. This is a little ways back in the field, and these guys are really battling each other.
That's 5th, 6th, and 7th. 7th spot right now belongs to that number 16 car. That's the 7th transfer spot.
That is your transfer spot. Exactly right. So these guys are battling to make this feature race. That's the reason it works so hard. And look at Kenneth Nichols in that liquid rich car, man. He really gets her down on the bottom.
Flock gets it to stay low, and he goes by for 6th. Ryan Newman, who is the leading rookie contender right now for Rookie of the Year, is battling for that final transfer spot.
And that's Jeff Hunt in the 1 car. That black number 1 car started dead last. It's moved up there. He also wants to take that feature event.
Well, they almost got together on the backstretch as they work into turn 3.
Jason Leffler in the 71 car got around both, and Jeff Hunt's pulling down to the inside. Obviously, he has a problem. A short night for the young man. Had trouble all night long, and looks like it's over for him for the rest of the season.
Well, there's no battle right now for the 7th transfer position. Looks like Schultz has that one nailed down. The white flag comes out for Dryden. As we anticipated, being the fast qualifier, Dryden would really have no problem at least transferring. Maybe not winning this semi, but at least transferring the top 7.
Well, it looked like Tracy Hines was going to give him a real problem there for a while, but once Dryden knew he was there, he took off. Dorchek and Hines have battled this whole race, but they haven't changed positions. Looks like Dorchek's just going to follow him home in 3rd.
And so Dryden takes the victory. Hines goes 2nd, but Dorchek finds a spot in the feature by finishing 3rd. And I think it was the 70 car of Schultz that was able to hang on for 7th position. So 6th position went to Flock. But there is your winner. So perhaps he found out something during that race that can benefit him as far as changing that chassis again for the feature.
Well, you know, Dryden, he's a pretty sly guy. I don't think he went out there and ran that race car as hard as it would go the first part of the race. Then once he saw somebody was challenging him, I think he stepped up the pace a little bit, pulled away, and I bet you he's still got a few tricks up his sleeve before the feature.
There's Jim Wright, the white shirt with the hat on. He is the engine builder of that Brayton, which is kind of a cousin of the Buick.
Right. Yeah, he's done a lot of work over the years on that engine, and he's developed it quite well. You know, these cars still have a lot. You know, there's still a great variety. Gertie, of course, is the most popular with everybody. The Brayton engine is becoming more popular. The Powder V6. There's a lot of different engines.
The Pontiac, the Fontana out here, the Volkswagen.
Yeah, I think we counted up seven or eight different engines. And like I said, Gertie is the most popular, but it's still not the only one.
Let's go trackside, Dave.
Order is restored to the world of midget racing. Dan Dryden, the fast qualifier, has bounced back from that cut tire in the heat race without problem and handily won here in the semifinal. You get your qualifying time back for the fast qualifier. You line up 6th for the feature. I want to know about strategy. How quickly do you try to get to the front?
Unlike last week, I tried to hang back and get to the front slower. I'm going to give them a little more time tonight. I'm going to make my move later, let them sort out their stuff. We got the car real close right now, and I want to make sure they're at the end.
You got that busy look in your eye. You want to get to work on this thing, don't you?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, man, that's Danny Dryden. I'll tell you, that cat is a racer. When he climbs out of that car, first thing he wants to do is go to work on it. We are going to have a terrific main event here tonight. Meanwhile, there's some terrific action going on over on the drag strip, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. Whole lot of shaking going on Thursday night at IRP. Timing is everything. Moments before we came back from commercial, Speedo the Clown went up in a ball of fire right on the front straightaway here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. This is a crazy place tonight. I mentioned the sprint car battle. They got rained out up in Wisconsin tonight. They will race on Sunday. They got rained out here last Thursday. They ran on Friday, and Gary Lee has all the highlights.
The main question on everyone's mind was, would the Glenn Nibel 6-race win streak at IRP continue? Doug Coletta took the early lead from his front row starting spot, but shortly thereafter, fast qualifier Kenny Irwin Jr. in the black 69 passed Chet Phillip for 2nd, leaving Phillip and Nibel driver Tony Stewart to battle for 3rd. After chasing Coletta for the better part of 18 laps, Irwin stood up to the defending sprint champion going into turn 3 and made this slide job a perfectly executed move, enabling Kenny to take the lead. Stewart, who was 3rd quick qualifier, nearly a half-second slower than Irwin, was really never a factor, finally moving around Phillip for 3rd, with Jim Mahoney right behind. Irwin held on to take the win, followed by Coletta, Stewart, Mahoney, and Phillip. The updated Loctite sprint standings show Coletta with a 26-point lead over Stewart. Gordon, who won the semi but finished last in the feature, is now third, 40 points behind. Trey House and Jack Hewitt round out the top 5.
All right, thanks, Gary Lee. You can bet that Tony Stewart is bummed that he went to the sprint car race tonight and then got rained out. All right, enough about this open wheel stuff. Let's talk about drag racing. This is Indianapolis Raceway Park. It is the home of the U.S. Nationals. But John Blickenstaff of NHRA, we have a little different kind of a national going on this weekend. We've got some videotape to back you up. Tell me all about it.
Well, this is the second annual Junior National Championship Day. We have about 725 youngsters age 8 to 17 racing half-scale dragsters in the National Hot Rod Association Junior Drag Racing Program.
I came out early today just because I wanted to see some of this activity. There you see, it's just like the real deal that'll be happening here in August. The cars look very much the same. But look at these youngsters looking for horsepower out of those little motors that are how big?
Well, they start out as 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engines, and then they get modified somewhat. So they get up to 20, 25 horsepower in some cases, but they're all the same engine block.
And really just the same as the big guys, the big men and women. It's always that quest for speed and ET. I mean, you're planting the seed of racing very early in these youngsters, aren't you?
Yes, we use mostly bracket racing, so they try to determine their dial-in time and to run as consistently as possible, but there's just a real science to learning how fast they can go, how quick they can go, and to try to do that consistently.
How do these youngsters qualify? How do these 700 drivers make it to the National?
We have about 130 tracks around the country, and each track is eligible to select their top 10 drivers. So if they choose their 10, then those are the kids that get to come to Indianapolis for this Junior National Championship.
John, my hat is off to you. I know you got a busy weekend, but the real stars are the drivers. I want you to say hey to the 5th-ranked, I'm all tangled up here. I want to say hey to the 5th-ranked driver out of Indianapolis Raceway Park, Tara Simpson from Streator, Illinois. First of all, congratulations on qualifying, and welcome to our television show.
Thanks.
Are you having fun this weekend?
Yeah.
I want to know, first of all, how fast and how quick will your car go? What's a good time and speed for you?
Well, it goes about 45 miles per hour, and it runs, I ran 1320s today.
Out of sight. Do you think you can win the national championship? I'll bet there's a lot of boys racing against you. Can you go out there and beat the boys this weekend?
Yes, I can.
Yes, you can. Spoken like a true racer. How'd you get interested in drag racing anyway?
Well, my Uncle Jerry and my dad used to race, and so then my dad took me to the Junior Nationals last year, and we bought my car there, and I've been racing ever since October.
And you're having a lot of fun, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, big smile. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
That is Tara Simpson. What a sweetheart she is. She and 729 other kids will be burning up the quarter mile right behind us here at Indianapolis Raceway Park this weekend. And we got quarter midget kids going in circles over at the fairgrounds, and we'll take a look at that when we come back. Hey, remember last year we met Jason Rusk here on Thunder, quarter midget racer from out in Colorado. I got eliminated today, hoping to win the quarter midget Eastern Grands here at Indianapolis. Midgets tonight, got kid drag racing, got the Eastern Grands for the quarter midgets. This is a pretty racy place. Gary Lee, tell me all about it.
Young racers from 38 states have gathered here in Indianapolis this weekend for the quarter midget Eastern Grands at the Mini Indy Speedway located at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. USAC Midget rookie driver Jeff Hunt is a 2-time national quarter midget champion. Hunt is one of many Thunder stars that served their apprenticeship in the small quarter midgets.
It really just teaches you the basics of a car setup, teach you if the car's loose or if it's tight, if it's pushing or whatever. So it gives you just a general idea of how a car runs and how it's set up and stuff.
The late Robbie Stanley, a 3-time USAC sprint car champion, began his career in quarter midgets. In fact, he helped his dad Ron build many of the small cars that are still competing today. Hey, there's car builder Bob East with his son Bobby's car. Bet that's a beast chassis. The quarter midget racing is open to youngsters 5 to 16 and makes a great family sport. Racing will continue throughout the weekend at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. And of course, Larry, that is one of the premier quarter midget tracks in the country, built about 3 years ago at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Tony George, the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, his son races, and he was very instrumental in getting that race there. Look at the crowd here, and we have to mention that we have some folks that are being introduced to racing for the very first time tonight at Raceway Park. About 800 people from 40 different countries are enjoying the Thunder with us this evening. They're in Indianapolis this week for the Sister Cities International Conference. And, of course, that's a program that dates back to an idea that came from President Dwight Eisenhower that citizen diplomats should get involved in international affairs, and we are delighted to have them with us, and we certainly hope they enjoy their introduction to midget racing here at Raceway Park.
Yeah, we want to say hello to some people tonight. Jim Clark, who's promoter up in Michigan, was in a car accident. He's laid up at home. I want to say hello to him. And Prentice Scott, he's in IU Med Center. He's the father-in-law of Kenneth Nichols. He's in there, and we want to say wish him well. Hope he gets out of there pretty soon. Tony Carter, half-brother to Johnny Parsons. It's his birthday today. We want to say hello to him. And we want to offer our condolences to Roxy. Larry Stresch, pilot for Newman Haas and a longtime racing friend, passed away this past week. So good week for some, bad week for others. We want to say hello to everybody, though.
Well, look at this. Speaking of first-time visitors, my first race. There's a young one for you.
And it's boring him, too.
Yeah, he wants a nap and maybe something to eat. Hey, did you ever race at a track where they paid $50,000 to win? Earl Baltus does that every year at the Eldora Speedway. It happened last weekend, and here are the highlights.
Eldora promoter Earl Baltus welcomed drivers Saturday to the $50,000 to win Kings Royal. It was evident in the first heat that the big money had everyone's attention. Bobby Davis Jr. got together with Ed Lynch, launching Jack Hottenchild's mount to the air as both cars flipped wildly. The drivers were uninjured. On the replay, we can see that when Lynch's car turned over, it tossed Hottenchild skyward. Also note the number 1 of Sammy Swindell somehow avoids the flipping cars but hits the inside wall. Lynch was done for the night, but the Wild Child returned to win the C-Main. Todd Kane and Joey Saldana comprised the front row for the 40-lap feature, with Saldana jumping out to an early lead. Dave Blaney started 4th, but got by Kane for 2nd off turn 2. Here's something sprint car fans are used to seeing, a Steve Kinzer slide job, this time for 4th past Todd Kane. But Kane pulls off the same move on the King in turn 3. That turn also saw the only lead pass of the race when Blaney shot past the second-generation driver Saldana to take over the top spot. Blaney had this close moment when Rob Chaney spun and was collected by Jeff Shepard. Mark Kinzer couldn't stop in time and slid into the wrecked car. Everyone was okay. Blaney then stretched out his lead and recorded his second Kings Royal victory and collected the $50,000 paycheck. Well, there's the $50,000 check. There's some of the crowd here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. But, you know, Earl Baltus says he would like, before he stops promoting, to have a $1 million to win race. Would that get you back in a sprint car?
Wouldn't get me back in, but I'll tell you what, if there's one promoter in this country can do it, it'd be Earl Baltus. And I know he said that. I've heard him say it several different times. And man, oh man, it makes me nervous when he talks about that kind of money.
Speaking of some of our favorite tracks, the Winchester Speedway in East Central Indiana will host us as we go back there on August the 10th for the Loctite Sprint Cars. And we got a press release from Roger and Linda Holloman over there that they're going to have Reith Riley in to resurface a 15-foot section there, take that seam out, and it should be once again a real racy joint.
Yeah, it should. There's Terry Linger.
Terry Linger is our chief spotter this evening.
He's
Hi,
doing
Terry.
really good. Yeah, they're going to repave the Winchester Speedway. They're going to set that night. They're going to have a world record attempt with a super modified. There was Bob Jenkins on there, did they say?
Yeah, Bob Jenkins is up there working or spectating.
Doug Dodaro is going to, in the Matsax car, is going to go out there and try to set a world's closed course half-mile record. Boy, everybody's at Raceway Park tonight.
You know Bob Jenkins is a race fan because we offered him a chance to stay in this air-conditioned broadcast booth with us. He said, no, look at him shaking his head. Nah, I want to stay up here with the gang, be a race fan outside. So glad to have all of them here. And we've got a racy feature coming up here, Dave.
Absolutely, guys. Thunderheads all. Even the guys that do this for a living come out when they got the night off to enjoy it because it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And the best is about to come. They've fired them. They're pushing them off. 30 laps for the USAC Midgets. It's going to be a thriller tonight. Stand by.
Hey, the Thunder and Lightning sprint cars roll into your area. If you're up in the Chicago area, Hinsdale, Illinois, tomorrow, Santa Fe Speedway, and Saturday, I-96 Speedway, Lake Odessa, Michigan. And as we told you, that race tonight at Wilmot, Wisconsin was postponed because of rain until Sunday evening.
Yeah, that's right. Those three races are coming up, so that ought to be a very exciting weekend. Also, Richmond announced this week the Midgets will be part of the Dirt Car Weekend at Richmond International Raceway in Virginia next year. These cars ought to put on a great race there along with the Silver Crown cars. It was terrific last time. It'll be better with the Midgets.
So it'll be a triple header with the 2000 cars as well. So as you can see, some of the cars are on the track now starting to line up for our 30-lap main event, which should be interesting as we ride with Kenny Irwin. He'll have a camera car. And don't forget, all these great shots are being brought to you by CarQuest. For your nearest CarQuest Auto Parts store, dial 1-800-492-PART. And of course, we cannot do that without all the mechanics necessary, including this scan lift provided by Bob Fink. So we thank him for his help this evening and providing us with some great shots just like this one from the car of Kenny Irwin. Well, once again, if you have just joined us, we'll tell you that the heats were won by Randy Tolsma, Kenny Irwin Jr., and Johnny Parsons. The semi-winner was Dan Drynan. Now we ride with the Wins driver in Kenny Irwin. We can tell you the Wins challenge money was claimed 2 weeks ago by Dan Drynan at $5,000. So right now, $1,000 up for grabs for one of three drivers if they can pull off the victory.
Drynan, Parsons, and Tolsman are the three guys tonight. And Dave, you got some predictions for us down there.
I don't have anything to even compare with your 97 years of combined experience with the Midgets in the booth. However, I think I am willing to predict that this guy, Dan Drynan, the hottest guy in 1995 in USAC Midget Racing, is about to have a terrific battle with the outside pole sitter, perhaps the greatest driver ever to come to Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Midgets, Mike Bliss. I think this is going to be sensational.
And I think, Dave, the guy right between them on the outside of that road, John Parsons, is going to make it a three-way battle. It ought to be terrific. And don't forget Kenny Irwin. I mean, this place is loaded.
Well, everybody's hedging their bets this evening. They're spitting out 3 and 4 and 5 names. It's still going to be tough to beat Mike Bliss, I think. You know, these midgets run all over the place, pavement and dirt. The Neymar and Mara midgets had a great show last Wednesday night at Kokomo Speedway, about an hour north of Indianapolis. Hot laps in qualifying at this quarter-mile bull ring present a unique challenge. Just ask Roger McCluskey. Or Don Branson, the grandson of the late great USAC hero, competing in the spirit of Champaign, Illinois midget. Now here's someone who has this racy joint figured out. It's California's Jason Leffler. The West Coast invader set fast time for the midget evening. Jack Runyon and Donnie Lehman started up front, with Runyon in the black 3 leading the 20-car field to the first turn. Despite the close quarters, everyone made it through. On this night, Runyon stayed exclusively with the low group, as did Tony Elliott in 11 and Dave Darwin in number 6. But others like Jack Hewitt weren't afraid to try the high side. USAC midget point leader Dan Drynan tried to follow Hewitt's example, going high through turn 1, but finding little cushion, executing a perfect 360 before continuing on. Runyon led the field to the checkers, proving to everyone that he's now able to adapt his driving style to the prevailing track conditions. This maturation, though, hasn't caused Jack to lose all of his youthful exuberance. Like to see that youthful exuberance at any age.
That's right. You see Fedorchak here, he's getting pushed off. He's having all sorts of trouble getting that thing started. They finally got him going, and still seems to be
I don't know if he's going or not.
Dave, you got an update on what's going on?
Yeah, I asked the crew what was wrong with the car because I'm not a rocket scientist when it comes to mechanical stuff, but I had this one figured out. I asked them, and they said it won't start.
Good.
We can see that. All right, well, now it's started, and he will assume his position, although he got the back of the pack because he had to get a push start. Ronnie John Cox also with a problem. Looks like a right rear situation.
Yeah, they pulled in. They've got that right rear off, so obviously they either had to change a tire or they had a problem with the suspension. Trying to get it fixed and back on there before they green flag this race, and it's only a couple of laps away right now.
Well, once again, the first 6 are inverted, as we told you off the top of the program. That's the significance of the first 6 being shown in qualifying. Tracy Hines and Mike Bliss will share the front row. In the second row, Randy Tolsma and the veteran Johnny Parsons. In row 3, Andy Michener and your fast qualifier, Dan Drynan. In row 4, it's Steve Barth and Brian Gerster, now third in the point standings. In the 5th row, Jim McCune and Ronnie John Cox. In row 6, on the inside, Kenny Irwin. You ride with Kenny right now alongside young David Bridges. In the 7th row, Jeff Howerton and Tice Carlson. Row 8, on the inside, Mike Fedorchak, outside Chris Schultz. In row 9, it's Jack Runyon in number 3. Robbie Flock, the 3-time Western States midget champion, in 32. The 10th row, Phil French in 41. Chuck Leary in number 30. In row 11, it's Jeff Sands and Kenneth Nichols.
Well, it's going to be tough. I tell you, once again, the two drivers in this feature that are up front that chose the hard tire are John Parsons and Brian Gerster, both teammates running for Rusty Coons. Almost everybody else in the first half of this field chose the softest tire.
And remember, you race on the tire compound you qualify on. You're racing that all night long, so you may lose some speed in qualifying. You make up for it during a long race.
That's exactly right. They're coming down to green now. Let's see if Bliss can beat young Tracy Hines into the first corner and make everybody else chase in.
Well, that's good education for young Tracy Hines. His dad, Jim, watching from the grandstand this evening. There is a green flag, a good start as they scramble for position on the break. It is Bliss in the Steve Lewis Performance Racing car by a nose. There's a good battle for second.
Hines hung in there very well, but it looks like Parsons has jumped into second spot. A good start. Oh, we got a car way up high sliding around up there. Lost several positions. Looked like Steve Barth that lost a couple of spots. Look at Parsons. Goes to the inside right away as he runs over our tread cam.
Tread cam, duck, and there's your new leader, Johnny Parsons. And hey, he could be on his way to his first victory of the season.
Yeah, he got a terrific start. Jumped right into the front right away. Bliss, you know, I think Bliss has given it everything he got. He wants to win this race tonight. Bliss wanted to get back in. He knew he had a very good chance of winning this race, going home a winner. But right now, it looks like there's about 4 or 5 guys. That's Tice Carlson.
Tice Carlson slowing down. Johnny Parsons so far this season has finished 4th on, or 2nd on 4 occasions. He's finished 3rd twice. An incredible string. 17th, 2nd, 2nd, 11th, 3rd, 3rd, 2nd, and 2nd. So what an incredible finishing string he has had. But right now he's out in front pulling away as there's the battle for second. On the inside, and he makes the pass.
Tracy Hines and Ramsey Tolsma right behind him. Also on the inside of Bliss. Let's see if Tolsma can make it stick in that Hawk car as he goes down the inside. No, Bliss hangs on. Dryden running back in 5th. He's that 4th car right there in your line in the white car, doing exactly what he said he was going to do. Let everybody else string out and then go for it later.
You have to be impressed with this lead that Parsons has right now, considering the hard compound.
Well, at this point in the race, Danny Dryden's got to make the decision. I've got to go for it a little sooner than I thought. Bliss is dragging.
Oh, car on fire over in turn 3. It's Dryden.
Danny Dryden.
Saw some flames from Dryden's car. It was from the exhaust. It looked like it was from the rear of the car. Dan Dryden, we talked at the top of the show about reliability, has kept him up in front in points. And as we talk about that, the first race out after that comment, he has a problem.
Well, that's right. And that might have been his problem tonight, more so than he thought there was some sort of a problem. He's trying to put the fire out there. He's trying to just put his glove over that to kill the oxygen and put the fire out there in the exhaust. But no real big problem there, obviously, as he wasn't running away from him or anything. But, you know, it's a tough break for him. He has had awfully good luck all year long with that car. And, you know, the engine might have had some sort of a problem earlier, and that's maybe why he wasn't as quick tonight as he has.
Disadvantage, obviously, for Dan, but also a disadvantage for Johnny Parsons. He had built up a sizable lead in 4 circuits out of the 30 laps that we will run. That's been estimated now because of the yellow.
Well, and I'm really surprised that that tire that Parsons chose, it's an 8. There are 3 different compounds, a 7.3, which is the softest, a 7.5, as we see Dan walking away pretty dejected right there, and then an 8 compound. I'm surprised that 8 was as fast as it was, as quick as it was. Usually it takes a little bit longer to build the heat up in that tire to make it fast, but he was fast from the first lap on.
Well, there is a dejected Dan Dryden as he walks away. Johnny Parsons, after 4 laps, leads Tracy Hines, Mike Bliss, Randy Tolsma, and Andy Michner. And perhaps we will have a shot of that. Perhaps we can take a look from the in-car. Now look up ahead.
There the engine blows up. You can see all the smoke and everything. Somebody just about clipped him. I couldn't tell exactly who it was. Somebody barely missed him to the outside. Danny did a good job getting to the inside of the racetrack, out of everybody's way as Kenny Irwin goes by. But he had some cars very, very close to the backside of him when the engine first let go. It looked like Brian Gerster was one of them that was so close and almost clipped him when that thing first went away. And Dryden was just trying to get out of the way. He did exactly the right thing.
Well, I know he's dejected, but at a time like this, you still have to talk to him, and that's the responsibility of Dave Despain.
Well, he's managed a bit of a smile here, but under that smile, there's an awful lot of disappointment. What let go, anyway?
First engine failure we've had all year. It's sort of vibrating going down the back chute, and she kind of tied up.
Did you know how exciting it was behind you with everybody trying to dodge you?
Only imagine. I was just trying to get low without cutting in front of somebody and causing something else. So it's too bad. Our IWX battling car was really nice. It was real comfortable. Like I told you, I was sitting there kind of waiting, and things happen.
Probably dump you back into a position of playing catch up in the points again. How long do you worry about this one, and how soon do you start thinking about the next one?
Well, we kind of have a different focus right now. Now that we're looking on to something beyond this year, I just want to win each race that I go to. If I win the championship, that's fine, but that's not really our focus. I think it tends to distract people from what they're at each event for, so that's kind of our game plan.
All right, put this one behind you. Good luck this weekend out in Colorado. He's going to jump in that couple-of-year-old Indy car, Dryden, with no success here this evening. Blown engine, first one of the year. We'll be back with more from Indianapolis Raceway Park right after this.
Back live at Raceway Park, Johnny Parsons, Tracy Hines, Mike Bliss, Randy Tolsma, Andy Midget. We're going back to racing. 4 of 30 laps now complete. Somebody looked like they jumped the start back there. It may have been car number 2.
Yeah, I think Minster did jump the start, but he got out of the throttle, got back into his position. He was supposed to be in 5th. That's where he crossed the line. I don't think there'd be any penalty there. He knew he had jumped it too quick. He got out of the throttle and backed up just in the right spot. Pretty lucky for him, really.
Tracy Hines in that black and red number 7 car rides in 2nd. His best finish this season has been a 5th. He's being challenged now for that 2nd position. 2 cars directly behind him, Tolsma and Bliss.
Yeah, Bliss tried to get in under him. He couldn't do it. As we ride with Kenny Irwin, he's right back there battling away. But this is quite a battle. Bliss on the outside, Tolsma on the inside, Tracy Hines right in front of him.
Reminiscent of what, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when those guys went back and forth lap after lap when Tolsma finally picked up the victory.
Yeah, quite a battle by those guys. This is Andy Mitchell in that number 2 car riding in the 4th position there, as you see him, and that's Brian Gerster in the blue car, who's actually riding in 6th position.
And Parsons is starting to check out again in your pack. Hines, Bliss, Tolsma, and Michener. That'll be 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in a freight train. But hey, Parsons is waving goodbye to those youngsters.
Well, Parsons, after about a lap, that thing gets the tire a little bit warmed up, and he just kind of pulls away. These guys right now are having their own little private battle. Look at Bliss down to the bottom. Can't make it stick. Goes way up high, and I thought maybe Tolsma might have a chance to get under him, but he couldn't do that.
Parsons has 29 USAC midget victories during his career. He's 10th on the all-time midget win list, so this would put him one closer to moving up to 9th.
And of course, what's happening back here, while these guys are battling each other, they're abusing their tires, trying to get around each other, battling each other. And while Parsons just goes out there running straight as a string, not having to battle with anybody. And look at Minster, he's on the outside. Oh, he couldn't pull it off. He was on the outside of Tolsma, thought he had a good chance of shutting him off from the groove, but Tolsma moved right back into the same spot.
There is Michener right behind Tolsma, Tolsma right behind Bliss. Now we'll see Bliss in action with NASCAR Super Trucks next week live here on ESPN. We'll also see Mike and Randy Tolsma as well in the Silver Crown Series race that we'll do here next Wednesday evening at Raceway Park.
Now Brian Gerster in the blue car. He's moved right up in the battle. Tolsma on the inside of Bliss. This time he makes it past. He went right on around him as Bliss got it just a little bit loose coming off that corner. Back end slipped a little bit, and he lost so much speed going down the straightaway. It also gave Andy Michener the opportunity to beat him into 3. So both those cars got around by just one little slip.
Good battle now for 2nd position. Parsons checking out on a Stealth chassis. A Beast chassis is now 2nd, and a Hawk chassis is now 3rd.
Quite a variety of race cars, all of them very, very fast here. That Stealth chassis, of course, built by New Zealander John Godfrey, and obviously he's learned how to do it well. The Beast car running in 2nd, as you said, and Mike Stryker's Hawk in 3rd. Down on the inside of Tracy Hines.
And Tolsma goes on by for 2nd. Hines dropping to 3rd. Yellow flag, 3, 4 cars involved. Several cars involved coming off the 2nd corner.
Still cars getting into that as the red flag is out. That was a hard crash.
There was a very severe impact after the initial contact. A couple of cars had gotten together. There's a look at Kenny Irwin. He is climbing out as you look once he climbs out over the top of his car. A couple of cars had gotten together. The yellow came out. Then there was an intense impact. after the initial contact, and that's when the red came out. 12 laps now complete. We're trying to identify the cars involved. Of course, we saw Kenny Irwin climb out. He is okay. The 41 car of Phil French, the 95 car of David Bridges, and there's a blue car up there, and it looks like number 22 of Jeff Howerton. Now, watch from the in-car camera. Now, this happens off in turn 2. There's the 14 car of Barth right in front of Kenny Irwin. But look on up beyond that.
We're seeing this as you're seeing it going through turns 3 and 4. You can see the Irwin's down on the inside trying to get around Barth. As they're coming off too, they make contact. Those two cars make contact first, slide back up into the wall. Barth and Irwin are sitting there as along come 2 other cars. That's Bridges, who really nails them hard. He got together with Jeff Howerton in the 22 car, the other blue car, and French comes through there with no brakes, and he went into him. That was Jeff Bridges, though. See, these 2 cars are sitting there. They've already spun. Bridges and Howerton got into each other, and Bridges got way up in the air.
Bridges hit Barth, and Howerton came unsubmarined under Bridges and kicked him up in the air.
Both of those 2 cars, see, they had lost control. As they hit, they had no way of stopping. They had no brakes, and Bridges was clear on top of the cage of Howerton's car. Has a couple more. Jack Runyon, you see, in that black number 3 car. He spun as Phil French had obviously hit something and lost his brakes. Once you lose the brakes in these cars, there's absolutely no control, and that's what happened. I think we have Dave Despain down there with some of our guys who are in that accident. Dave?
First couple of guys have gotten out of their cars. Jeff Howerton, you're okay, I take it?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Tell me how it happened.
I was behind Irwin there, and he was trying to get under bars, and they just seemed like they got together, and I was right behind him, and I just got caught up in it.
You're okay, though?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And right next door is Kenny Irwin Jr. You're okay, too? You've taken more than your share of beatings on this television show lately. You all right?
Yeah, we're all right. Just going through 1 and 2, me and Barth. I got up into him, and I thought I was going to be able to clear the pass, and I just hit his left front tire a little, and that just got us sideways.
Okay, but you're okay. So 2 out of the 4 are okay. We'll just keep checking and get right back to you guys.
Well, there's a look at Steve Barth with helmet and neck collar in hand, takes that long walk across the infield, and we're going to take a look at this in real time again. And I told you to look way ahead as we were riding with Kenny. I didn't realize Kenny was actually involved. Now watch as Kenny and Barth get together. Now this is in real time.
And Kenny...
Now Kenny, that's when you know it's going to hurt. When you see a car coming at you at that speed and there's no place you can go, you're a sitting duck.
Right, and then Kenny Irwin readily took the blame. He said he just thought he had him cleared. He hit the left front of Steve Barth, and they both spun. And the other cars behind him, trying to miss them, got together, hit the fence, and boy, those guys really hit hard. Dave?
Well, out here in the infield, Steve Barth and I don't have the luxury of having seen the replays yet, but I bet you're not looking forward to that one too much. You were kind of an innocent victim there, or what?
Yeah, Irwin just went in there way too hard. I guess he thought I was going to lift, and that's not racing. If you can't pass me just getting by, then... You know, you should have waited till the next lap. And he just, you know, he's got more money we got. He can put them back together. We can't, you know. We're about out this year, and we tore up a lot of stuff, and it's just a dumb move.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, Irwin took the responsibility for it, but Barth says that doesn't help me pay the bill. Steve Barth is done for the night and maybe for a while.
Well, I got to tell you something, Dave. As a kind of a partial car owner of a race car, I really feel for Steve Barth. It is a very expensive sport. It is tough when you've got your own money in there and you destroy a race car like that. I really feel for all these guys, but I know the Barths, you know, it's their family operation, and it is a very, very expensive crash when something like that happens.
Well, there is Barth's car on the hook. You saw Jack Runyon's number 3 car setting down there, and the 95 car of David Bridges.
Yeah, that's his car, the yellow car sitting there. That car was way, way up in the air. He hit with the right front. He had no brakes. Boy, he plowed into those guys. We hear that he has walked away okay. We haven't had a chance to take a look at him yet, but that's the report we're getting, is that he did walk away okay, so everybody seems to be all right.
Well, we're understanding that Jim McCune, number 68 car, was not involved in that altercation. But you can see that the chassis, the the frame held up in the 95 car. Despite the violent crash, the frame held up. And once again, you tip your hat to USAC and the stringent rules and regulations for safety equipment. And I think we go back and talk to another one of our combatants, Dave.
Well, the good news is the damage here is all mechanical. The drivers are okay. Phil French, I guess that's good news, obviously, but it doesn't soften the blow of disappointment here. You had such a good night going, with a chance to win that heat race, run good in the feature. How did you get caught up in this?
Well, I saw the cars spinning in front of me, and then they rolled down the track, and it happened so quick. You can't react fast enough. And I think I ran into Kenny Irwin, who was already stopped on the track. But I was banged up my knees a little bit, and they checked it out, and everything's fine.
What do you do in that moment when you know there's no place for you to go? Do you really have time to react? Are you able to do anything to try to protect yourself?
Oh, you just try to hang on as tight as you can and hope you don't hit very hard. There's not much you can do. You can't react, and sometimes if you react, it makes it worse. So you just kind of hold on and hope everything's going to be all right.
I'm glad to see that little bit of a smile. Phil French is okay. We're going to take a break here while they clean up the mayhem. The drivers are all A-okay here at IRP. That was a wild one. We'll be right back. Speed World presentation of All the Thunder has been brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Hey, thanks, guys. Nice to have you here with us at Raceway Park as the cleanup continues. The cars are either on the hook or being pushed back to the pit area, but the emergency crew remains out there in turn 2 to clean up the mess. And there is David Bridges' car. He got the altitude record on that one.
Right, and that's a brand new ride for him. He's got that ride for the rest of the season on the pavement, and it didn't get off to a very good start, obviously. I know that Chuck Snyder worked on that engine all afternoon. They had a couple of new sponsors, graphics, marketing, and what was the other one? I can't remember right now, but I'm sorry, guys. But I know they had a couple of new sponsors here. They wanted to really impress, and they had all kinds of trouble.
12 laps out of 30 complete. As you saw the top 5, there's your top 10. Robbie Flock rounding out the top 10. And Dave, I have to tell you, as we go back to you, they're still working on Drynen's car, and there's no hope of getting back in the race. He's down like 12 laps, but they're still working on it.
Well, we'll try to check that out in a moment. The thing that I'm marveling at here as I sit here is how this is a continuation of the wild, wild weekend that we've had in motorsports. Let's just go back and kind of review some of what's happened here in the last 3 or 4 days. This is the Badger Midget race. Randy Cook and Randy Fiskus up at Sun Prairie. Jack Hodenschild with a wild ride at the Kings Royal. Ward Burton, air flaps up and over onto his top in the wild slide. Then at Talladega in the Busch Grand National race. Everybody okay. Here's a spin that caught Mike Wallace out. He was pretty unhappy about that. Same, too, for Michael Waltrip. Big day at Talladega. Upside down goes Randy LaJoie. He was A-okay. The wildest of all, Kenny Schrader, end over end, side over side. He's okay. Indy cars, bumping and banging. Paul Tracy spins Andre Rivero. Robbie Gordon, Jacques Villeneuve touching wheels. DeFerrin, Gordon, and Andretti dueling for the lead. DeFerrin and Pruitt with a crash. They get mad and yell at each other. They're very unhappy. Herta slows past by Michael, then passed by Villeneuve at the white flag. Were they unhappy? After it's over, everybody bumping wheels, and of course, wildest ride of all had to be Trevor Siebert going up in the air in the Indy Lights race. All the drivers okay, and that's the report here tonight as well. But I am ready for this to end. I want to see some good, clean racing to the finish of this thing. Danny Drynen back in his race car? You betcha. He says, hey, I'm in the point lead. I got to get back out there and try to do some business. Maybe we can get a word from him. I don't know, but I suspect they're going to push that thing real quick and send him back to work because the red flag period is over. The cars are back out and fired, and very quickly we will be ready to drop the green and get this thing back underway. It had been, up until that point, yeah, there goes Drynen, missed my interview. It had been, up to this point, a very clean evening at Indianapolis Raceway Park, hadn't it? Other than Drynen's yellow flag blown motor, I don't think we'd had any kind of an incident to speak of all evening. Well, we sure ended that in a hurry with that big 5-car tangle coming off turn 2. Drivers are okay. Is it too late to change my prediction? Could I jump on board with Larry Rice? I sure like the looks of Parsons tonight.
Hey, Dave, I think there's a name for that. I can't recall what it is right now.
Reneging, I think is what that is. Now, we talk about Drinan blowing the engine. Obviously, he didn't blow the engine.
No, obviously there was another problem. He might have had a timing belt that jumped or something happened in that race car. He's got it fixed, and he's back out there. That's Robbie Flock's car right there. He started 18th. He's up to 10th spot right now as they get him restarted. So Drinan sees a chance. Of course, there were about 6 or 7 cars involved in that crash. He goes out and runs another 5 or 6 laps, even though he's probably 4 or 5 laps
he's
down.
8 laps down right now.
Well, if he's 8 laps down, all he's got to run is to lap 20, and he'll gain the 6 spots of those guys that were out of the race. So he sees a chance to pick up a few points. Almost reminds me of NASCAR racing. Go in, change engines, or whatever they do in there, and then go on back out.
But I like that spirit. Let's not say it's over. Let's see if we can't fix it. Now, granted, had we not had the red flag, that would not present the opportunity for him to do it. But the crew goes to work, fixes whatever the problem was, and you're right. He has to go another 20 laps or so, but regains what he would have lost by sitting out and being a spectator.
Well, and that's right. And you got to admire them for going in there and at least taking a look. You know, a lot of guys would have just hung their head down and sat on the wall, but he didn't do that.
Hey, Bob Jenkins is with us. He could come down and do this promo Speed Week Friday nights, 12:30 a.m., 9:30 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. And of course, coming up next Wednesday, we'll have the USAC Silver Crown and the Midgets here at IRP's Festival of Speed. Thursday, we'll have the NASCAR Super Trucks, and Friday, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Cars for the Kroger 200. It is a great week here at Raceway Park next week.
It's a great week in Indiana next week because there's racing everywhere. Here, the Speedway, every place else in central Indiana is going to be racing. It's going to be really terrific.
Guys,
yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I got an update on that Drinan situation. I talked to the crew. Jim Wright indeed did check the engine out and said, hey, guys, the engine seems to be okay. They think that perhaps what happened, it's something to do with the muffler. They really don't know what. The muffler got into the tire, created the heat that started the fire, and perhaps it was that friction that was causing the thing to pull down, going down the backstretch, that might have been what he felt, rather than, in fact, the engine letting go. Wright checked the motor, said, I think the motor's okay. They've kind of tidied the thing up and sent it back out there to see if, in fact, it will run, because obviously when you're the point leader, just like in Winston Cup racing, you want to get back out there and complete as many laps as possible. So there is a bit of a mystery surrounding the 33 car. Racing is not an exact science. They don't know exactly what's wrong with the car.
Well, of course, we heard Dan say earlier this was the first engine malfunction of the entire season, so apparently they didn't have the engine malfunction. We're looking at the starter about to give the furl flag. Is he going to... apparently they're going to go at least... no, there's the furled flag. And one more look at what brought out the red flag.
As you see right here, wheel to wheel, bang. Kenny Irwin hits him. They're sitting there dead ducks. Man, oh man, that was the hardest hit I've seen for a while. As they come through there, about 6 cars, 7 cars. That was that. I tell you what, David Bridges hit those guys about as hard as I've seen anybody hit a stopped car for a while.
Well, you heard, I think it was Phil French say he had some sore knees. Most of these guys will have sore knees tomorrow because there's just no room in the cockpit of a midget, and the knees are right there, and they take a lot of abuse.
Very, very tight, very close to the race cars. As we come around now, the pace car is off the track.
12 laps complete. We go to work on lap number 13. The green flies again. Now let's see if Parsons can check out as he has before. The battle all evening has been for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th because Parsons has been way out in front.
As you see right there, Tracy Hines is the one that pulls down to the inside. He kind of holds up the pack as Parsons just pulls away. Tolsma running in 3rd and Andy Michener in 4th, and that freight train is, I think Tracy Hines is holding Tolsma and Michener up right now.
Well, Parsons, that's to his advantage because he pulls away and puts some more daylight between 1st and 2nd. Then it's Tracy Hines, then Randy Tolsma, then Andy Michener.
Yeah, so you see Tolsma, he's trying to find a way. He's trying to find a place. Michener moves to the bottom. Tolsma's tried the bottom. He's moved up a little bit. Tracy Hines is running just perfect where you can't run low and you can't run high. He's not running in the high groove. He's running right between the high and the low groove. So there's no place above him and there's no place below him. They're having a terrible time trying to find just the right spot to get around him.
Well, this is Randy's 4th midget feature of the year. He's had a 3rd and a 6th and an 18th, but he's been very competitive throughout the evening as we get to the halfway point. 15 laps down, 15 laps to go. The battle is still for 2nd position. Right there it is. And again, Tolsma simply cannot find a line where he can make it stick.
See, he's trying to get up. He goes way high in the middle of the corner, tries to get a diamond off, but Tracy's just got enough horsepower coming off the corners that Tolsma can't get a run on him. Michener trying to do the same thing to make a move on Tolsma. He's not able to pull it off either. Hines is running pretty fast. He's just not running quite as fast as we see Michener down there. He's
he almost lost it. That could have been a mess.
That is exactly why Tolsma has not done that, because, you know, he didn't have enough traction. He knew he couldn't make that stick. Michener finally decided just to get in there and give her a try, and obviously it didn't work very well.
That's Bliss back there in the 5th position. 6th is Gerster in that blue car at the top of the screen. But as these guys continue to battle, Parsons is gone.
Tolsma right now moved to the bottom. That gave Michener a chance to move up, but he couldn't make the pass. I thought sure he'd pull up there and block him from getting back up in line, but he didn't. Tolsma pulls back into 3rd spot. Great battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right there between those 3 cars.
Over a half straightaway advantage now for Johnny Parsons. Again, Tolsma looks to the inside. Can he make it stick down there and make the pass?
He can't. See, Tracy Hines pinches it close enough coming off the bottom that right there, he made Tolsma kill his horsepower, so he went on by. Now that he's going to slide up in front of both of them. Boy, that was a brave move by Michener, but he made it work. As those 2 guys were battling, he just went around both of them.
Yeah, the gap closes down now between 4th and 5th. 5th is Bliss. 6th is Gerster. 7th is Schultz. Way out in front is Johnny Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons is about a half straightaway ahead here. As we take a look at him and we go back to 2nd spot, it is about a half, 3/4 of a straightaway, as Tolsma still working on Tracy Hines, running in 4th now. Went from 3rd to 4th as Michener went around those guys. Tolsma in the 48 car, Tracy Hines in the 7 car. Battling hard.
Way out in front of all this battling is Johnny Parsons. He has no idea what's going on behind him. With all this battling, he has lengthened the lead out to over a straightaway, and the JP, who has finished 2nd 4 times this season, finished 3rd a couple of times, would appear to be on line to win his 30th USAC Midget event.
That was a nice pass by Randy Tolsma. He was on the inside. He ran that line the whole way around there. He didn't slip. He didn't slide. He didn't do anything except go right on around Tracy Hines. And now look how fast he's caught up with Michener. Michener might have cooked a tire while he was doing all that slipping and sliding, passing those guys, because once Tolsma got around Hines, he pulled up. He gained 8-10 car lengths on Andy Michener in just less than a lap's time.
Well, we're working now on lap 23. Parsons flashes across the start-finish line. 23 laps down, 7 to go. And this will be indeed a very happy victory lane if JP can pull this one off.
And look at Brian Gerster in the blue car. He's right behind Mike Bliss. That's Chris Schultz in the 70 car behind him. Gerster has the harder tire, remember. Seems to be working a little better now than Bliss is, as Bliss is falling back to, what, 5th spot right now, I think.
Of course, Bliss said in the heat race the car did not handle in the mid-corner area. And right now, as you take a look at that battle for 2nd on the inside, Tolsma, they almost get together off the corner.
Tolsma really seems to be a faster right now, but he just can't quite make that pass. I think that the car of the 2-car of Michener's is very, very loose. You can see the back end. See it right there? See it hanging out? That means it's loose. He's probably blistered that right rear tire. And you can see that. Tolsma can see that, but he's still got to find a way to get around him. Oh, definitely he's got a blistered right rear tire. He's just hanging on for dear life. Randy's just got to find a way to get around him as that red car goes through the corner sideways.
Just 4 laps to go as Johnny Parsons flashes across the start-finish line one more time, and you can see how loose the 2-car is coming off the corner. And at this point, all Tolsma can do is going to hang on, bide his time, make the pass, and accept 2nd, because there's no way they can catch Parsons.
Yeah, right now it's a battle for 2nd place. Michener trying to hang on with a tire that's pretty well used up. Randy Tolsma trying to find a way around without using his tire up. That's his problem. By going to the inside and sliding around down there, he could use his tire up too, and then he wouldn't have a chance to get around him. So he's got to find a way to get around him and do it smoothly.
This is lap 28 as you follow that battle for 2nd off the 2nd corner.
There it is.
There's the bobble right there coming off the 2nd corner, and that bobble allowed Randy Tolsma to go by on the low side and assume 2nd position.
Believe me, that was a nice job driving by both those guys, because that tire is so bad on Michener's car. He's doing a heck of a job just to run it as straight as he is.
Johnny Parsons will pick up the white flag as he comes off the 4th corner, this time down.
Man, he made this thing look easy tonight. That old man, didn't he?
Oh, you called him an old man? 50 years of age?
Look at this, Brian Gerster. 1 lap to go, and he's slowing on the backstretch.
Johnny Parsons will celebrate his 51st birthday. I think it's August the 26th, but right now he's going to celebrate this victory, number 30 in his storied USAC career, and he takes the checkered flag off the corner, and there is Johnny Parsons. Talk about youthful exuberance. He is one happy guy.
I love it. I love it. I love to see a guy like John Parsons. He's a master of his trade. He's been at it for so long. Rusty Coons right there, the chief mechanic on the car. He's enjoyed so much success. Won every big race in the country as a chief mechanic. Great job by that whole crew and John Parsons.
Well, you know, Dave, I just regret we're out of time. We won't have a chance to talk to JP because you know how happy he's going to be.
I hate it when we run long. Parsons has won it. He's going to take a big jump in the points. Dryden, the leader, broke. Gerster broke. Stewart wasn't here. Parsons will move up. Mishner with 3rd place will move up. Tolsma is back. What a night. You'll at least get to see Johnny pull into victory lane with his 30th career USAC Midget victory. Kitty there to congratulate. Next week we'll be all over Indianapolis Raceway Park with Silver Crown and trucks and Busch Grand National cars. For Gary and Larry, I'm Dave Despain, and we're out of here.